3 days ago I arrived here in Colombia and I was a victim of a drug robbery.
I just got my phone stolen in Colombia, Medellin, and I got stabbed.
I got drugged yesterday. I met some chicks from Medellin off of Tinder.
We left the restaurant, I think, a little bit before 10. And from the restaurant to our Airbnb is maybe a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk. So we started walking. All of a sudden, two guys came up to us out of nowhere, and they had knives.
And I had my phone out and I went by myself to an ATM at 6 a.m. in the morning. I had my phone stolen.
There's a gunpoint.
Guy tried to take my bag. This is how I got home.
A German man has been rescued after being reportedly held for ransom in the Colombian city of Cali. The 54-year-old was found chained up and unconscious. He'd apparently been drugged by the family of a woman he'd met up with after developing a friendship with her on the internet. Police have made 3 arrests.
The family of a young man from Orange County is struggling with their grief and at the same time trying to find out how and why he was killed while on vacation in Colombia.
Question is, how safe is Medellin, Chris?
As safe as you make it.
I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana in the United States of America. I just came to Cartagena recently for a vacation. I was on an application, a dating website, and I met a girl in there. And we had arranged to have lunch, and she was going to meet me here at the hotel at 2 o'clock. We met, I got in the car, we were driving off to lunch, and slowly the car pulled over and 5 other gentlemen jumped in the car. To lunch, and slowly the car pulled over and 5 other gentlemen jumped in the car with a gun held to my head. For 2.5 hours we drove around while they tortured me, made me give them passwords, made several Western Union transactions, PayPal transactions. They did multiple charges on my credit card.
Hello my friends, it's Christmas time and 3 days ago I arrived here in Colombia. It's the first time that I'm in South America, and I was a victim of a drug robbery. And so the story was, I was chatting with a local girl. She invited me to her apartment. With a friend, they wanted to cook a local dish. And I thought it would be a very nice opportunity to meet local people, because I'm traveling solo. I didn't know anyone here. And yeah, I went to their apartment. Everything was fine. We were listening to music, we were talking. I didn't expect anything bad, but at some point they offered me a drink, which was like a soft drink, a pink soft drink, very sweet. I was drinking a few sips, and then after 10 or 15 minutes I lost the control over my body.
Scopolamine is regarded as the world's most dangerous drug after it has been used in urban areas to zombify victims and then steal from them. The substance is blamed for many crimes in Paris and in many South American countries, like Colombia and Ecuador. There are countless stories about how the drug is used to take advantage of its victims. One of the most common tales is that victims can be handed a card with the drug laced into it. It takes only a few seconds for the drug to enter the skin, then the victim falls into a state of hypnosis. Once in this zombie state, a victim will do anything for the attacker and follow all instructions without questioning. The most insane part is that when a victim recovers from the drug, they will not remember anything that happened. All they can remember is what happened before they were ripped off.
And from this moment on, I have like a blackout. I woke up in the morning without my phone, without my bank card, and then I checked my emails on my laptop and I saw that they basically stole everything from me. Since they had the access of my Face ID through my phone, they were able to see all my login data of my internet accounts, so my bank account and also my saving accounts. I'm a member of some crypto exchanges. These were my savings, and they stole everything.
Hello, my name's Kevin McCaffrey, originally from Portadown, Northern Ireland, and I've been living in the magnificent salsa capital of the world, Cali, Colombia, for the last 11 years. This is my story related to scopolamine and how I was robbed of 60 million pesos, around $15,000, while visiting Cartagena. I was in the historic centre of Cartagena with my friend. Just after 9 p.m, we got approached by a couple of girls. And we started chatting, just for a few minutes. And then after chatting, then before leaving, one of the girls asked me, would I like to meet up? So she asked for my number, I gave her my number. So the next day, my friend, he was traveling back to Cali, and then I had the next 2 nights by myself in Cartagena. I was staying in Gethsemane. Luckily, I have traveled to so many incredible parts of Colombia and Latin America. Many of those times traveling alone. I like traveling alone, particularly as a musician. I travel with my guitar. So traveling alone is something I very much enjoy. So the last 2 days I was by myself, and around lunchtime the girl sent me a message on WhatsApp. So we were talking on WhatsApp for a couple of hours more or less, and then finally we agreed to meet up. So we took a walk from my hotel in Gethsemane over towards the historic centre. We eventually got to a very, very common area for tourists, which is right by the clock. This is around 6:30 p.m. Very public place. It was a beautiful evening. We just sat on one of the benches near the clock. We got a drink from one of the street vendors. We were talking for about 10 minutes, getting to know each other. Things were going very well. Then after about this 10-minute period, the girl says, "Look, I recognise one of my friends over there. Do you mind if she comes and says hello?" I said, "Yeah, no problem at all." So her friend came and sat down with us, probably for about 5 minutes, and then that is literally the last thing I remember.
Question is, how safe is Medellin, Chris?
As safe as you make it.
Talk about it.
Yeah. So I got robbed on Monday at gunpoint by 3 guys. Wasn't great. Made me feel pretty powerless. And I've been visiting here, kind of growing up my whole life, right? But sometimes you got to listen to your intuition. Kind of the story goes as such. I was out to dinner with a couple of friends. We wanted to walk off the meal. And so we hit up Manila, which is like a pretty happening neighborhood. There's always people. But then afterwards, we came upon a street that was a bit more quiet. And right before we hit that street, I told the other 2 guys I was with, I was like, "Guys, we shouldn't go down the street. It's too dark."
What street is that?
It's right by El Éxito del Poblado off the 10. It kind of just goes to show how sometimes like something will possess you and you kind of should listen to your gut. But my buddy was like, I walk this all the time. We're good, man. Trust me. We're a block from my house. We'll get home and we'll be good. And so we walked about a minute and someone came up behind us and he got a little too close. And so we kind of turned around and first thing we saw was just a straight up gun. And the curious thing is, as safe as you may feel with like 2 buff dudes, because one of them was ex-military and the other guy was a bodybuilder, and I'm 6'2", so I'm not some scrawny guy.
Yeah.
But so this guy walks up, he has a gun, and one of my buddies is going to posture up, and he was going to try to do something, but there was 3 other guys all with guns, and at that point, your life is way more than what they're asking for. Right. It's a phone and a wallet, which are replaceable. Right. And it all happened so fast. They pointed the guns at us. They're like, "Hey, there's 3 of us. Give us everything you got." We gave them everything we had, and it happened in an instant. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, it makes you feel pretty powerless. One of the kind of the hottest moment was like the dude was trying to assert some dominance and he pointed the gun at me and he told me to sit down. And I was like, "Dude, you have my phone, you have my wallet. Like, what are you trying to prove?"
So I was in Medellin. I looked at Santa Marta, maybe as you do, as this beautiful beach city, which it is, and thought, couldn't be worse than Medellin, right? And I looked on a local website because I was broke to get an apartment there, which was quite cheap, but it was a little outside. It was like in the south of the city, but very close to the beach, which I found very nice. And the beach there was also nice. It's actually nicer than in central Santa Marta. But the southern parts, Rodadero, and also the part next to the airport are unsafe. The more central you can go in the city, the better. Those zones in the south, they have nice beaches sometimes, but all the robberies that I heard were there. Anyway, I was there. It was beautiful nature. It's like halfway into the Sierra Nevada, Santa Marta. So you have all the mountains in the background. But the streets are very empty and there's a lot of very poor houses there. So this is kind of the problem. And the first week, I ordered an Uber from a hotel, and the guy there told me that there was a family shot next street to my apartment. And I was like, what? So I came there, everything full of police, and the guy at my Airbnb confirmed that it was a car with like a family of 2 children surrounded by 2 motos, and they just shot the whole family. And I went despite people warning me. And one night I came home with a bus from Barranquilla with my MacBook, with my phone, with everything. And I said to the bus, like, let me out here. And he was like, no, it's too dangerous. You can't leave. And when I exited this bus and walked home, it was a really bad feeling. I walked home very fast. Nothing happened. The day after, at 7 p.m., I went just with my broken iPhone and a credit card to buy some groceries. On the way back, I have a moto next to me, in front of me, and the guy's pointing a gun at me. So I just like raise my hands, I give up, I know it's like not worth it. So, and also you're just shocked if somebody puts a gun at you. So a guy, you know, touches me everywhere, takes my phone, takes my credit card. After he has the things, after he has took the things away from me, he still points the gun at me. And he looks into my eyes and I can see those emotions, this anger and hate in his eyes. So I wasn't having a good feeling because he already had my stuff. Why did he keep pointing the gun at me? And I could feel like he thought about what to do. Luckily, nothing happened. They drove off. Afterwards, there were like people coming to me and helping me. And like one woman drove me home on her moto. They're actually the Colombians, they don't like robberies too because they get robbed as well.
This is not how we imagined that our last video of Colombia would be.
Definitely not.
Over the last 2 months we have been traveling through Colombia, Linz and I, and the last 2 weeks Caroline joined us because we are working together on a project. And we've been to so many great places, we've seen such great nature, we have met such amazing people. Only last week we went to one of the world's most beautiful beaches. And yesterday was almost our last day in Colombia, and we spent the whole day at the police station. So let's talk about what happened.
We went out for dinner at a really nice restaurant. We were having drinks, it was just, the sunset was beautiful, and then it started raining, so we had to wait a little bit longer in the restaurant, a little bit before 10, and from the restaurant to our Airbnb is maybe a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk, so we started walking. And all of a sudden 2 guys came up to us out of nowhere, wearing scarves over their face, hats, and they grabbed Caroline's bag, and then the other guy went up to Nick, and they had knives with them. So they pointed the knives at us. So we had to give everything to them.
I saw them coming from behind the corner, running up to us, and then it gets really blurry. I have images of myself taking my phone out of my pockets and handing it over. But then suddenly they were gone. It went really fast.
It's
such a surreal moment because they just came from nowhere, and for me they came behind, and one of the guys punched me in the back of my head, and I was still holding on to my bag, but then when I look up I see that he has a knife, and when I realized that, I just let go.
And it was here, the knife was really in front.
Really. And I also remembered, I just saw in his eyes, there was just a complete darkness, and that's when you know, like, this guy is ready to use it on me. So, you know, it doesn't matter, whatever you want to take it.
We have to keep reminding ourselves that these are rare occasions. But it's also really important that this is not going to change our mentality or our idea about Colombia. We still love Colombia. We still love the people of Colombia. Like, we've met so many amazing people during the last weeks, months that we've been here.
And even yesterday at the police station, people came up to us asking what happened, and they immediately said, like, here is my number, if you need anything, please, if you need help, what can I do? I'm sorry that this happened in my country.
Colombians are really great people,
yes.
And we are not going to let two crazy guys, junkies, I don't know.
They will not get us down, absolutely not. People are still amazing, nature is awesome, Colombia is a super, super, super great country. And we will definitely come back, right?
Yes,
definitely.
Definitely.